Hello, and welcome to another episode of New World Comics Podcast. I'm Buck Berlin, owner-operator of this fine establishment. Joining with me this week are Matt.
That's me.
And Cassidy.
Hello.
Yay! We are going to be talking about Superhero School this week.
What's that?
So, fun story. Superhero School is something that we started back in 2012 to combat, believe it or not, OU football.
The true enemies.
Yeah, so it's not that we dislike OU football up here. It's just it kills business on Saturdays. Like, absolutely, positively kills business. And, we had to figure out what we could do. So we figured, well, typically for young kids, one parent, is into football and one isn't, which, I know many families where both parents are in, and I know families where none of them are into it, but it was just one of those where it was blown up and just absolutely kill our entire Saturday. So we were like, well, what can we do? And we're like, well, we could try to do like a weekly special, or we could do this thing. And then someone had the idea to educate kids about reading using superheroes. Because we had just started doing more costuming stuff up here at the store and doing more events like that. And we thought, okay, yeah, we could totally do that. And then we could, see where it takes us from there. And if it works, cool. And if not, then, well, it was fun that we tried. And, we didn't know that it was going to blow up to be this big thing where it led to us doing all these charity things, doing the reading to kids at elementary schools, other reading programs at libraries, going and visiting the sick kids, that kind of stuff, which has really enriched everyone's lives. And it's this really cool thing, all because we had bad sales on Saturdays from OU football.
Well, I'm certainly very, very grateful for it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things in my life. Truly, it is.
Oh,
at least something good came out of football.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. No, and like I said, this isn't me like, cursed football. Like, it's just, I'm not opposed to OU football until it's affecting business.
The high school theater kid in me is still screaming like, football. Which I guess is actually what this is too. It's
yeah. Well. Yeah, no, but it's just kind of this neat thing that we now do, and it's kind of become its own culture up here, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That it's this fun thing that we get to do to promote reading and positive lifestyles, just betterment of being. And we get to play dress up, and I get to make things, it scratches that artistic need that I have. It's just kind of a win all around.
I concur.
So, I thought that I'd get everyone here today and talk about, first off, who you are and what you do. And then I want to do a deep dive into Superhero School, because there's some people who haven't been, and typically we don't really record them to show because, we don't want to record kids and just put it out there
right.
as part of the business. It's a thing that you have to come here to watch. And, we're not exploiting the kids, just to further ourselves. So. Without further ado, why don't you all talk about yourselves?
Sure.
Let's go Cassidy first.
Yeah, my name's Cassidy Smith. I am a magician, and I'm a water taxi boat driver. It's like the San Antonio Riverwalk, but it's in Oklahoma City, and I get to talk for 40 minutes and give a tour. So, best job ever. And sometime in the future, hopefully, I will be a college student. That's my long-term goal. I love cosplay. I do love comics, although I'm probably one of the least versed in comics, especially in a comic shop. But I've always loved the characters, and I love cartoons. And growing up, you didn't get comic book movies. You didn't get good comic book movies for the most part. So this age that we're living in now, the Marvel age of movies and everything, I absolutely adore it. It's the kind of thing I thought I would never have as a kid. And it's great. And I've just always loved fantasy and superheroes and things like that. So I feel like this is like one of the best things I get to do is every Saturday I get to be up here. Oh, and currently this year in 2019, Superhero School at New World Comics at 63rd and Meridian, I am going to be in every single superhero school. So all 26 weeks.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Well, plus 26 plus because we had the the entire month of May. We have
Right. So more than 26.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then there are the special appearances that we'll make. So yeah, that's exciting.
It's exciting for me.
Yeah, well, and to go back on the you're not terribly well versed in comics, that kind of thing. I never want people to come in and feel like, oh, I don't know anything about comics. I can't stand up to
Right.
you guys. No, it's all about the intent and love of the genre.
Yeah.
That I think is most important.
And I've learned a lot. I mean, I have learned a lot. Honestly, superhero school educates the kids, and that's great. But it also educates not just me, but other people. And I mean, though I will say it's not to bogart the mic here, but it is funny when like you're like an hour before superhero school and you're up here and you're like, oh, I got to research this character, and everybody's on Wikipedia, and it's like we have all these books here, we could go to the books, but we spend so much freaking time on Wikipedia.
Well, and I'll send you all home with some source material.
True, and I've gotten some good material that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's real fun to see what you all latch onto and like, you'll and becomes like one of your favorite characters, and then other times it's the, oh God,
it's helpful to find the voice of the writer and how that influences you, particularly when they haven't been portrayed in other forms of media, and then it really is up to you to get creative, and that's fun, but it's a challenge.
Which that's something that I want to get to here in a little bit. That's probably going to be the next thing that I get to after we talk to Matt.
I'm Matt. I'm also known as Sentinel Bait, under my cosplay name.
Sentinel Bait?
Sentinel Bait.
Okay.
Like the bait for a sentinel.
Yeah, like X-Men, like big giant robots that go pew 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 and go splody.
Exactly.
Yep.
In superhero school, I tend to oscillate between playing handsome leading men and sludge monsters. I do know that much about comics.
Oh yes,
because I grew up gay and geeky in a farm town, so I had a lot of time on my hands to read. So,
given your small town upbringing and being the outsider there, comics ended up being a great escape for you.
Absolutely. Like I can trace it back to I would say 2003. I think I was 13, and X-Men 2 came out.
Oh, so that was
there's and that movie's
oh yeah,
it's heavy. The coming out scene. Have you tried not being a mutant?
Yeah.
That was the actual script I was playing out in my head to talk to my parents about that. So it worked out really it was perfect timing and everything. So I've read I think X-Men I've been writing it constantly since then. So
yeah. Which I mean,
so my first tattoo for that reason. Yeah, and actually that's also the reason for my cosplay name Sentinel Bait, because mutation equals queerness equals mutation, and so we're so us gay kids, they were bait for sentinels.
Yes. No,
in so many
I
words.
get it. Yeah. No, you're persecuted. You're sort of, yeah. Which
chased by robots sometimes.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, just before the podcast. That how it's a weird time to be where it's easier now more than ever, but still there's so much further to go with everything.
And we still have senators and stuff talking out about programs to push us back and everything. And
it's when they build the big giant robots that you really need to worry.
Yeah. God love, man kills.
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, aside from your lifestyle, man, sticking with the X-Men through all those times, that must be even harder than.
I will say I did have a dropout for a little bit.
Oh man,
around Messiah Complex and House of M.
See, I would have gone the time where Professor X was like, "Oh look, there's a Skrull on the team. Let's all just hang out." And Beast is gonna wear a skull cap and goggles. Yeah, let's cover up the furry guy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, see, for me, that's the low point of the X, right before the Grant Morrison stuff.
I know my cat's uncomfortable when I try to put him in costume. I can't imagine how Hank McCoy feels stuffed into stuff like that.
Yeah. So, God.
Ironically, it's Emma Frost who wears the least amount of stuff, and she doesn't have to worry about fur. So.
Right.
Great electrolysis that she goes
through.
Sure.
Now that we have a handle on who you all are, I want you all to talk about the characters that you all have portrayed in superhero school, and then I want to dive a little bit deeper into the hows and whys of how you play these characters. Because in superhero school, I dress you all up as superheroes. You come out and talk to the kids about who you are and what you do and that kind of stuff. And you interact with the kids as those characters. A lot of people think that, because they come and see me making the costumes all the time, they think, oh, it's mask making time for kids. No, we're teaching kids about these characters, so when they go to read the comics, they know who all the characters are.
No, they can't touch our masks.
Yeah.
No.
Because it's more fun when you're, reading something and you know who everything is, and, you have a point of context for all these things. Mm-hmm. So that's why we always have your A-list characters and your Z-list characters and everything in between. And luckily for everyone else, I love so many weird characters in comics that I can do that. Oh, here's the best of this. Here's what defines this character. And so many times people have, I've cast someone in superhero school, and then months later, years later, even in the media, cartoons, movies, what have you, something will happen and someone will say, they stole what we did in superhero school. It's they understood what was best about that character, and it's parallel thinking. So,
yeah, I can say that I've never mentioned to you a show or a character, and you've been like, I don't know, like. You have such a vast knowledge of them. Like, there's times when I'm like NFL Super Pro, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah, like he knows everything.
It is so nice to be around someone who gets my deep dive jokes about old comics.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. Like, so when I got a job here at 17, I had read almost everything from the Silver Age to current. And it was pretty much just the Golden Age stuff that I hadn't done. And at the time, like, I wasn't really familiar with Legion, and there were a few other things that I didn't really read. But outside of that, like, I made sure that, like, I knew everything that there was to know, because I was the young kid, or, like, when I took over, or when I got a job here, the typical customer base was, like, 30 to 50-year-old white men who, like, only read the DC Marvel comics, for the most part. Like, there were, few outliers there, but, whereas now it's, my business is to everyone. It's kids who just learned to read to the elderly, every color, creed, you name any kind of difference, they're now part of who we market to.
That's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
It's sometimes it's weird coming to a comic shop as a little kid, especially younger, because like it has that Batcave inclusiveness feeling to it.
Yeah.
I know whenever as a kid, it'd be a really special trip to come to the city, because that's where comic book shops are. It's not one rack at Hastings.
So that is where you got your comics, Hastings?
Yes.
Oh man.
As in Hastings, where they put the price tag sticker on,
on
the
the
cover.
Right. So you're probably not going to get something that's going to be a whole lot later on. Dude, I love Hastings.
Well,
it didn't work
it's
out
after the
for
90s,
him,
so it's not like it's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So as far as I didn't mean to interrupt.
But I did actually that reminded me. Back when I started reading comics, like the Jeff Johns Teen Titans was like one of my biggest like lead-ins, and I was on issue like 3 or 4, and I came to New World Comics and got like issue like 5 and like 6 or 7 runs of Young Justice.
Oh my God, I remember. Yeah, I helped you.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is not rehearsed. This is happening before your very ears.
How about that? Yeah. Because I was the one that would have to go run, get all the comics for everyone. So, yeah.
Do you remember the year?
This would have been...
After 2003.
Yeah, this would have been 2004 or 5.
Yeah.
So, 14-year-old Matt coming in here, and however old Buck was.
I would have been 21.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, a bunch of the Young Justice, the Teen Titans, and then I got Superboy. And I remember there being a Teen Titans #1 behind the counter.
Yep.
And actually, last week I bought a Teen Titans #1 at the big sale. Like, wow, I get goosebumps right now.
That's awesome.
That's full circle. That's full circle. Sorry, characters.
Circles and circles, man.
So, Joker, I know the movie just came out, which I haven't seen yet, but I want to. But I absolutely love that you took a chance and cast me as Joker, because I've heard people say I do a good job, and I'm like, I think I do an okay job. But I really got into it one year. I've been him several times, And one year I decided to be Cesar Romero and Heath Ledger and
Jack
God.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson and 30 Seconds to Mars, Jared
Jared
Leto,
Leto.
I forget. Yeah. So I was able to impersonate them all. And then it was and I was like, I was just making up a lot of jokes, and I had so much fun. I've gone back and watched the clip of that superhero school, and I'm going on for like 9 minutes, and it just feels like nothing. So that was when I felt like I was in the zone. That's one of my favorites. But like, I mean, I don't know how many superhero schools I've done, but I love all of them. I love a challenge. There's some of them are really hard if they're like an accent. Like I was Banshee. I was Banshee, and I think I did an okay Irish accent.
Yeah,
it's tough because he's a cool character, but he's like kind of serious.
Well, it's a Claremont accent too, so it's kind of an accent. It's kind of just taking out vowels and putting in apostrophes.
Yeah, but I love a challenge. I love characters that I don't know a lot about, so that was fun.
The thing that I didn't know about accents until Dre had brought it up is how easily they're dropped. You know, and you know, you always, you know, hear about these actors and actresses that, you know, perform perfect accents and do all this stuff. And you don't realize how hard it is to maintain it, because you can have an accent for 3 or 4 lines and then slowly but surely, unconsciously, you'll lose it.
Oh, God, I tried to do a French Canadian for North Star. Oh, it sounded like I was trying to do Banshee.
And it slipped real quick.
Real bad.
Yeah.
I can do a French accent when I was Batroc the Leaper, which was amazing. I love that. But when I've tried to do Italian, it sounds a lot like it. So it's like there's some things like intonation and voice, and I love getting to experiment with that. But yeah, and Nightcrawler German, because it's not the traditional German, you know, thick,
It's
aggressive.
a soft German.
Yeah, because he is that kind of character, and
It's
he's
a Claremont.
thoughtful. So I really enjoyed doing that. And when I was stopped at Dollar Tree on the way over here, and I bought a Bible, so that when I retreated into the background and the other characters were talking, I was crouching, reading my Bible.
Yeah.
It's the little details.
It's the subtleties and
that's-
that.
And I learned a lot about Nightcrawler that I didn't know. Like, I loved him when he was played by Alan Cumming in the movie. I love that. But I delved deeper into his history, and I'm like, oh, this is a cool character, because he looks like he'd be this evil demon and kind of thing. But his persona is the exact opposite of his appearance. So that's a really cool.
Yeah, he genuinely loves everyone
contradiction.
and hopes for the best.
So it was really cool. I don't know if I did a great job as him, but I loved getting to learn and know about the character in the week leading up to that superhero school. But those are just a few.
That is the best assignments, whenever you get to learn a lot about the character like that.
So every now and then I'll try to throw you all a curveball, you know, something that's right outside your comfort zone. And I want to say that Cassidy had just done something super over the top, and we had a DC Villains week coming. And we were kind of light on the cast, I feel like. And I thought, okay, it'd be really fun if we tried to do quick change costumes and see how many characters we can get in. And, you know, if we were to give these Z-list villains famous actor personas, you know, like you know, name a movie star. Oh, that's that character. You know, because when you think of character, you know, most of your movie stars don't really play a character; they play themselves. Named this guy doing, you know, like Sylvester Stallone is pretty much Sylvester Stallone in most movies. There's no real subtlety in his acting, whereas
I can give you some examples, but go ahead. Continue.
well,
There's
I'm a
good
fan.
MCU examples, because most of those characters are totally different than their comics
Right.
personalities and wise, but
Yeah.
they are now established as Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark.
yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of the challenge that I had, was some of these characters are portrayed in other media, so people expect to see that. So you have to make sure that you're playing the happy medium for that. But some characters, like the Z-list characters that don't get any play, oh, you have all the fun. Like the exercise I had for Cassidy was I gave him
6.
6 characters.
And I know who they are. This was on June 17th, 2017. I was to be Polka Dot Man as John Wayne. I was to be Kite Man as Jack Nicholson. That was awesome. I was to be, who was I? Angle Man as Liberace. So, you know, I went full Liberace. That was fun.
It was one of those where we played right up to the line and then backed off.
And by the way, it was done American Idol style, where they're auditioning. So you had Mr. Mind, you had Poison Ivy, and you had Josh Flowers as Lex Luthor.
Oh, as Lex
and
Luthor,
he had
yeah.
a lot of
That was just
yeah,
Yeah,
he had
no.
he had a lot of fun Simon Cowell-esque things to say. So continuing on, I was a calculator as Sylvester Stallone. Freaking amazing, one of my favorite moments. And I was Owen Wilson as Evil Star. It was my sixth character, and I was running on fumes. But you told me Jack Nicholson for Rainbow Raider. Rainbow Raider's a cool character. Roy G. Bavolo. And anyway, so I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. So I'm like, I'm going to play him auditioning for American Idol, and I composed a little rock song that I did, just rhyming everything with Rainbow Raider. And it was, nobody knew it. That's one of the best things, is seeing people's reactions, not just the people, but like the actual other people there. They're like,
Yeah.
what? So that was fun. And then they tell me to get out of there. And then at the last minute, you're like, why not? Catwoman. So I go back and do a seventh one. I'm like, okay, fine. But they'd seen me so much anymore that I go into a black Zentai, which I'd been wearing for the previous three characters. And I put on this hat in there. And so I think it was, it was Jimmy. It was Jimmy who was Deathstroke, and he was
Yeah.
like Ryan Seacrest, and he's like, all right, and now Catwoman. And I heard everybody, the roar was like, yeah, finally we're getting Catwoman. And it's me. And then like, they loved the other characters, and they were like, this sucks. Like, they were like,
it sucked
boo.
all the air out of the room.
Yeah.
But all the adults loved it.
Oh, yeah, because-
because it was so unexpected. And,
Yeah, it was unexpected by me too, and it was just hilarious. That's one of my favorite superhero schools, and it was a great challenge. And it was a super blast getting to roll through those. And Kelsey, I got to give my girlfriend Kelsey credit. She was the costume person back there, switching my costumes.
Yeah.
Couldn't have happened without her.
Yeah, because it was one of those, like, anytime you have a quick change, you almost always have to have a costume master to make sure that you're
Yep.
taped in, pinned in, painted, glued, whatever needs to happen,
Yeah.
and out you go.
There's been so many. Oh, just a few weeks ago, I was Jonah Hex for DC Comics Presents, because that was another one where you had two anchor characters like Wonder Woman and Batman. And I just love getting to be Jonah Hex because he's so dark and
You were
interesting.
great
and
as Jonah
It was
Yeah.
it was such a fun, because it's different. It's not funny. It's about being accurate and not hopefully scaring the kids too much. But he's kind of a scary character. So I don't mean to take all
you
the
have
time.
that skin
No.
bridge across your mouth as Jonah Hex.
Well,
That was
It changes you when you feel that. You're like, you start to feel like what it would have been like.
Well, and it's wonderful the way that you portrayed him, because you were Clint Eastwood subtly. Like,
Yeah.
you were just...
He was very much a dark.
Yeah.
He's seen things, and he's
Which, if ever you've watched The Outlaw Josie Wales, that's Jonah Hex. Like, Jonah Hex
I've
is
seen
lifted
comparisons.
entirely from that. And if you look at the early Jonah Hex drawings, he's drawn like...
I was
Clint
going to say
Eastwood.
his face is a little more thin in the original stuff than it was later on.
Yeah.
It filled him out.
Yeah, because, back then, like, everyone was more svelte.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But no, those are just in recent times. There's just been some great stuff. So, Matt, is there one of yours? Jericho was one that I was thinking of. But you've done a large. You're not just locked into like one role. Like you got range.
oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
It's
Not like your range. Good lord, you're our Doug Jones of.
oh, that's sweet of you
Right.
to say. No, who was it? Who did you do? I'm trying to think. Oh, Shazam Superhero School this year, and
I was gonna say-
she was a great Captain Marvel.
Love
Yeah.
doing Shazam.
Captain Marvel is my favorite thing that you do.
Captain
just-
Marvel or Shazam?
well-
so I've been both.
Yes.
True. Yeah.
So
Shazam,
leading
I guess.
men.
So, the old school comic fan in me cringes every time I have to say Shazam, because the wizard's name is Shazam. I swear to God.
The doctor's name is Frankenstein.
Right. So, but your Billy Batson is just so wonderful. It's youthful. It's playful. It's inquisitive, yet strong and supportive. It's everything that the character is.
But usually I am, in fact, thrilled out of my mind to be standing beside these superheroes, these cosplays. Because like you said, like your Z heroes. I like my Z heroes too, and a lot of times you get them in whenever you have the big.
Oh man, yeah, like
members like that.
D-Man is like my favorite thing that we've done, because among the kids up here, D-Man is the fan favorite, and like I've been championing D-Man since before Superhero School. I was like, everyone needs to read D-Man comics. He's a great character. And then Jeff plays him so well, and he's just this down on his luck character that it has a lot of heart, and
And he's homeless, right?
yeah, he's champion of the homeless. He's a character that doesn't let any of that stop him, and he's one of the truest heroes. And Jeff portrays that so incredibly well.
He's a queer homeless superhero. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and you just feel for the guy, and these kids love him. Like anytime that he comes out, these kids are like, D-Man, oh my god, like it's great. So yeah, like the store is almost bereft of D-Man comics because all the kids are like, I want to read about this guy.
D-Man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
So-
Matt, what was your? I'm sorry.
Oh no.
What was your first time at superhero school? Because it feels like it's a long time.
Batman for a Justice League.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you fit the suit, right?
Because I fit the suit.
Well,
Yeah.
because we were going to have you enter in as someone else, but Flowers had to cancel last minute, and then we were like, all right, fine, be Batman.
It turns out, like, mass-wise, we have the same, like,
You have about
amounts.
the same build, yeah.
Like, I'm shorter, but he's thinner, I think. So it all, like, evened out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that fit perfectly. That was a lot of fun.
And then you were like,
Yeah, you end up being
now on.
Batman 3 or 4 times, like, in a row, just because of how everything fell.
Yeah. It was right
and-
before Batman Day, too, I think.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because it was right before Batman Day, and that's when most of the crowd up here got to know you, because I mean, for years I've always wanted to have a rainbow Batman up here, because like it's just one of the most eye-catching, spectacular Batman suits, and it's a really fun story way back when. Not counting the social connotations that it has now.
It's canon, so no one can say anything.
Right. But then you come along and you're like, yes, put me in it.
Like, I have a complete setup for it on my Amazon wish list.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send it to you. I have it all planned out. I know how it all is gonna work. All I need is the money, Mr. Shark Tank.
Yeah. So I was more than happy to buy the costume and throw you in it, and it's gone over spectacularly every time that we've had you do it. So
Oh god, it's one of my favorite. And there's the little boy who was Rainbow Batman a few years
Drew,
before.
yeah.
Oh god, he came in that day.
Yeah,
and,
it was like Rainbow Batman.
that was
yeah.
amazing. Ugh, that was amazing to talk to him, and he was so excited.
do you have a favorite cosplay you've done at the shop? I know you've done
shop.
a lot of them
Yeah,
outside.
I've been cosplaying for about 7 years. I've been cosplaying around OKC for a while, so I've seen you guys around. So I was always wanted to be part of it. So when I got to, it was awesome. Thank you, Eddie, for being my in. My favorite one to be here at the Pied Piper is a fun one.
Oh yeah.
US 1 was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, US One is one that like I've been trying to get into superhero school every time that we have an odd reason to have. So like every now and then we'll do like the mishmash casts kind of thing, and we can sneak in a few of these characters, and every time US One just didn't quite make it, and then I said, hey Matt, why don't you try US One? You're like, I don't know anything about it. I was like, well,
What was like?
No,
We
just-
we had like
just
we had
anything
like
else.
chatted about it once before because I was aware of him just because the US 1 comic is infamous. It's a comic about a truck driver.
with an alien radio skull.
Yeah, which doesn't even come up till the very end of the book that everything was aliens. Everything.
Yeah.
He becomes the first like trucker across space from Earth because oh wow, it's amazing. So I only knew about a little bit of the infamous, and then one day you put it down on our call list. Mm-hmm. I was like and so I read all 27 appearances of US 1 in like a 2-week time.
Yeah, well, and you just be like, oh my God, what about this? What about this? Oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
I was blowing up your phone with that. Yep.
You delivered. And it's US 1, the comic, with the characters named
Ulysses Solomon Archer? Yeah, Archer.
AKA USA. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of me was partly jealous because I'm like, I'd love to be that character, but I think it was one of the roles you were born to play. So you did very, very well.
Yeah, there. Typically, when I'm deciding who's going to do what, I will think, what else have you done that is kind of like it, or what do I think that I can give you that you'll chew on, gestate and produce something that is spectacular, thrilling, and something that is memorable, because you wanted to make sure that the takeaway is that's a cool character, or that's an interesting character, because you don't always necessarily want your characters to be liked. You want them to be remembered,
Exactly. Yeah.
because not every character is going to be liked. Like U.S. Agent in the comics should not be a likable guy. He should be abrasive. On some level, a bigot. He is mission first, country first. All
So
these
he's a
things.
good guy, but he's a good guy, but he's not necessarily likable.
He is a hero. He is not a good guy.
Okay. Okay.
For the most part. I mean, on some level, he is a genuinely good man.
Yeah.
But as far as saying he's good people, he is not good people.
Okay.
But that's the thing, is he's always learning. He's always growing a little bit more. So if you read U.S. Agent now, whenever he shows up, he's vastly different than when he showed up in the 80s. Like in the 80s, he's just shy of a fascist, whereas now it's I don't really care for you or your kind, but I've seen enough things. I'll stick with you. Let's get our mission done.
Just clear up any confusion. US 1 and US Agent are different characters.
Yes, yeah.
Google does not know that.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, John
Yeah.
John Walker.
If you search for Marvel US 1, you get lots of US Agent stuff.
Interesting.
But yeah, like U.S. Agent will drop in, kick a whole bunch of butt, and then all of a sudden he's stuck to a point, and then whoever he didn't like, whichever member of the team, whatever, has to save his bacon. And he's like, all right, fine, I understand how this goes. And that being said, there are sometimes that he does surprising things, like in one Avengers book, he lost an arm and a leg, and then decided, this superhero technology isn't accessible to everyone. I'm just gonna have a prosthetic arm and be in a wheelchair, and let's go do this. And he ended up becoming the warden of the raft. And everyone's like, "Oh, we could take him. Look at him. He's half a man." We're like, "All right, well, this half a man's gonna beat the hell out of you." And
Was
he
he
did.
still in the U.S. Agent costume?
No,
He was
was
John
just
Walker.
Yeah, he was just
That's cool.
yeah. So it's characters like that aren't good people that you like, but you love them because of the character that's
Right.
there.
And there's complexity.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is just because someone, just like in real life, just because someone has beliefs, it has a section of beliefs that you don't believe in, doesn't mean that you entirely write them off. Just because look, there's one little aspect here that doesn't jive with everything else, because that's part of all of society, and that's part of getting all of the heroes and villains and everyone together, is because together we can all work this stuff out. So not to soapbox the whole thing, but it's
I have a few Emma Frost quotes to shoot that down, by the way.
well, we don't really listen to Emma Frost now, do we?
Oh, we do.
You do, I do not.
We do. We are amused.
I'm just saying, as Kitty Pryde said on her first day of being an X-Men, she tried to kill her.
Emma Frost tried to kill her?
She's
Emma
tried
Frost
to
tried to
kill
kill- yeah.
a lot of people.
Yes.
And
not
that
good.
horse. Okay, fine. She blew up a horse once.
Oh, she blew up a horse once. Emma Frost is a terrible person.
She was a terrible person. Now she's just a.
Well, we're not really sure what Emma Frost is right now.
Oh my god.
I'm just saying the Hickman stuff's gone crazy.
Character assassination. I call character assassination.
All right, we're
You know when you pretend to be your boyfriend for 6 months and then you attack your family with a robot?
happens every Tuesday, every 6 month Tuesday. I got nothing. Yep. So
Riders.
getting back on track.
Anywho,
Matt,
me.
one of my favorite things that you ever did was when you played Jericho
Oh yes.
on Teen Titans.
Talk about dedication.
So you learned sign language for this?
I learned a monologue in sign language.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I learned, and apparently I learned overly complicated sign language.
Of course you
'Cause
did.
I was trying to directly translate the words straight into sign language, and
Sarah? Yeah.
Sarah, she is an interpreter,
She's proficient, yeah.
and so she kind of talked to me like, hey, you can drop like half of those.
Did she tell you this right before superhero school?
No, it was right after.
Okay.
Because I didn't
we love you,
think
Sarah.
to talk to her because that would have been she could have cleared up a lot of that for me. But
Yeah, it's crazy the set of skills that you all have that some of you don't realize each other have. Yeah, she could have sat down and were like, all right, here's what you do.
a
It
little
was
bit more
still-
authentic.
It was still really, really cool though, because I mean, as an actor, or whatever it is that we do, whatever it is, but like to actually perform not without your voice, that's a huge challenge. I mean, that is a massive, massive challenge, and so yeah.
It was really exciting. It actually comes back around because Jericho's always been one of my favorite characters from the Jeff Johns run when he first pops up literally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Doing a lot. I think that's the most prep work I've done for a character.
Yeah, Cassie, what's the most prep work you've done?
Oh God, most prep work. Probably for the DC. Well, let me see. Okay, so there's certain characters that I've just really. Loki for a superhero school. Flowers is an amazing Loki, and I spent a lot of time not with the comics, but with the movies with Tom Hiddleston, thinking I was going to ace it. I sucked. I'm an excellent Fandrell. God, I love Fandrell. But the most work that I probably put into it was, I think, slapstick. Just in that you for the Deadpool character. Or the Mercs with Money.
We did a
told
Deadpool
me,
day.
and you weren't here for it, but you told me Jim Carrey. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, I can do that. Because I remember when the Ace Ventura movies came out, I was walking around all the time acting like him because it was the coolest thing ever. But I was like, I don't know. I feel like after I read a little bit, he's kind of a crazy Mickey Mouse person. And plus the fact that, the Mercs for Money, kind of dark stuff, and it's Deadpool Superhero School, which Deadpool Superhero School always kind of drifts dangerously close to that line, although, of course, we always remain family friendly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'll go the complete opposite, and I'll just try to be really, really nice. So I was just like, hi, kids, I'm Slapstick, and I'm a good Samaritan. That's what mercenary means, and all this kind of stuff. And it was really, really fun. But the costume was, because we were working on a wig, and finally my hair was long enough, we were like, let's just spray it. And it looked freaking amazing. And then I have 2 fingers and a thumb because I'm an animated character. We prefer the term animated Americans. All this funny stuff. So it was like I was prepping the Jim Carrey thing for a week. And then 2 days before, I'm like, I should change it. So the original idea was hello, kids, I'm Slapstick. It was going to be a weird Harvey Fierstein. Then I'm like, no, I think Mickey Mouse. So it was a whole bunch of prep that I didn't go through with. And then I finally changed it, and I was like, yeah, it's this. And so that was a super fun character, although the prep happened. That happens sometimes. There's times when I'm driving up here, and if I'm a big aggressive character, I'm trying to listen to AC/DC or something to get to get really, jacked up for it. And then if it's another kind of character, a more smooth, calm character, I'll listen to some jazz or something because it's helpful to get in that mindset. But I think Slapstick was fun. Adam Warlock, I actually got recast, but I did a lot of work research into Adam Warlock, and I ultimately had to be Star-Lord. So it was cool though, but I learned a lot about him. I was reading some of the Jim Starlin stuff, the creator and everything, and I was like, this is a cool character. It's more than just Space Jesus. Oh my God, no, sorry. Gandhi, Space Gandhi, or what I know as Space Gandhi, but what you may know as Saint Walker from the Green Lantern superhero school.
Yep.
I know that he's not really supposed to have an Indian accent, I guess, but reading about him, I was like, I'm feeling he's Space Gandhi. And so I'm like, I'm going to do that. So I had to research the monologue that the character gives. And then I was also looking up a lot of research into Gandhi. And I'm like, I think I can combine this. And so I really loved getting to be him and recount his history and his extremely sad origin story of every bad thing happening to him. But he retained faith because that's his thing and hope and everything. And so it was one where when I was performing it, I was I wasn't trying to get any laughs. I was trying to be dead serious, but authentic with a slight, accent, not to try to be cultural appropriation, but just I feel like that's the way I imagine.
Yeah, you weren't trying to be insensitive.
No, I was
It's
trying to be
easy to
authentic.
slip into that when you're doing science fiction characters.
And so, I did a lot of research for Saint Walker. Oh, the greatest.
So to be fair, I've never heard 2 people think of the same voice for Saint Walker.
Yeah.
We had him in a role playing game we did once.
Oh, really?
A tabletop, a DC Universe one, and everyone had a different voice
way of-
for Saint Walker. Mine was very like this, and then Saint Walker, and welcome to
Because
the
he's a
planet.
soft, gentle
the blue-
person.
Yeah.
He protects. He'll use he creates force fields. He's not going to try to hurt anybody if he can help it.
Lanterns are awesome.
Yeah, and but I really loved the challenge of being Saint Walker, and it allowed me to watch the movie Gandhi, which I hadn't seen until that point. So
Like I said, you're Doug Jones.
I appreciate that.
And he finally did one before Doug Jones got to do it too, because he's gonna be Saint Walker someday.
He should be. He should be.
How about you? With
I can be. I would love to be Saint Walker.
Yeah, no, with the prep and the characters. Oh wait, no, we've already gone over that. I should drink more of this.
Well, like I think for me, maybe not being as well versed in some of the comics, there's a lot of research. But with you, like when you've been Midnighter, like Midnighter, like I mean that's like, and you're a very very good Midnighter when you've been him. So like it's easy to tap into that.
Apollo.
Yes.
Before we get into characters that you all want to be, are there any characters that you don't want to be again? Or are there characters that you feel you've grown stale with?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
There's some like some of them like Batman. I don't want to be again. But that's just because he the shows he appears in. There's a lot of other characters I'd like to be in that kind of thing.
Right.
I can't think of anything. Like I've had a few like dud days, but
Like
it wasn't
who?
the care.
You just couldn't
I
connect.
think like the second North Star I did, maybe even the time I tried to do the French Canadian accent for him.
Yeah.
That was just kind of like 4 stars. Oh, it's a wonderful thing. Last fall, I was going to be the Pied Piper, and then the next week I was going to be Jericho, and I got a cold.
Oh.
The week I was Pied
no.
Piper, and Pied Piper, even though his power should be piping and stuff, I said I always come out with show tunes.
Yeah,
And,
you put a lot of work into that.
Anything I don't put a lot of work into that one.
Well, it just comes naturally to you because
like
you have
anytime
something to sing about
I
everybody
treat it like
else.
a word association game, but with songs and anything anybody says. But yeah, so like that week I needed to be singing and like yelling and stuff, and I had a cold, so my voice was all. And the next week I was fine, and I was Jericho. doesn't
that's
speak.
So,
Yeah.
Oh goodness! And as Jericho, after I gave my monologue, Law, who was hosting, I was like, "Now, does anyone have any questions for Jericho?" And I looked at her. Like, fortunately, all the questions they had, I was able to pull from either what I learned for the monologue or like kindergarten ASL.
Yeah.
nice.
And then Sarah came up and translated.
Yeah.
It's like it was like in and out and yes
Yeah,
and no and thank you.
There are so many of those times that you accidentally fall into that, oh no, I've doomed the character, I shouldn't have asked because sometimes, given that it's a production, sometimes you don't take any questions and you leave that intrigue, just for the, okay, well, if you want to know more of the materials out here in the store.
That's where the improv comes in, where, I mean, as long as you keep it relatively within the world, you can get by with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
My favorite improv ever was as Superman. Beast Boy, someone asked someone about like, well, if your parents are aliens, or if your parents have superpowers, why don't you have superpowers? And I was Superman. I was like, well, you see, Ma Kent has a saying: just because a cat gives birth in the oven doesn't make her kitten's biscuits.
I remember that.
And just silence.
I remember someone was
You pulled
on
that
their
out
way
of your cape.
Yeah. Someone was on their way out. They're like, that makes no sense.
It does.
Well, no, but
Biscuits come out the oven.
no, I know, but just the like without anyone actually, that didn't make any sense. They just left. Yeah, I mean they were like I say, they were on their way out anyway. But yeah,
Got people thinking.
This is confusing. I'm leaving.
Small town Kansas, idioms.
I relate to that. Yeah.
Oh man,
Who wouldn't I like to be? I like Star-Lord, but I think there's people that can be better Star-Lords. I was an awful Loki. I'm pretty happy with the performances I've given other than that. And I always love a challenge. So anything else that I didn't do great at? Like I'm not trying to be all high and mighty, but yeah.
no, I mean, there are times when like you can do great at a thing, and then the next time you're out, like
maybe it feels like you've used all. Yeah, that's the thing is you want to, you always want to try to bring something different to the table, so don't give it all.
Well, every now and then I'll throw my hat in the ring and be part of superhero school.
Hercules.
Yeah, that's the example I'm bringing up is when I was Hercules. The first time I was out, I had everyone eating out of the palm of my hand.
Oh,
like
yeah, you were the all-star.
Yeah, and then the second time out, no one was having it.
Yeah.
It was just all right, I'll back off. Where's my shirt? So yeah, it just kind of happens sometimes. But so So no Star-Lord for you, but
I mean, I'm good. It's just I think that there's like other people that have something more to, might could have the right hair for it or something.
fair enough, fair enough. What about characters that you all have either wanted to play or other superhero schools that you all would like to see? Like for the longest time we were unable to do like Ninja Turtles, and then I was like, oh no, we can't do Green Lantern because
But now it's happened.
yeah, and that's the thing is I'm trying to hit all of these like, oh no, we can't do this. So now I'm trying to make sure that we always hit these goals to where there's no more. No, we can't do that.
So despite the fact that I have a 100% like professionally made Green Lantern costume head to toe, I've never been in the Green Lantern ones.
You have kind of a Jordan face.
I can close, and the one time I was going to be backup for anyone, and I was sick that day even. So like, when I finally got on the roster for that one.
Well, and Green Lantern was one that we did this year that or no, I think we did it last year.
No, it was this year.
Was it this year?
Yep.
Okay.
It was like it was in the spring. I think.
It was spring.
I was sick again.
Yeah, that was one that we for the longest time we said, oh, we can't really do this because there wasn't like a cartoon or a movie or anything to help like back it. And I was like, I think the material there is strong enough that we can.
There was a movie. It didn't help.
Yeah, but no, and that's the thing is sometimes we'll try to tie it into whatever's going on in the zeitgeist, and other times it's just, you know what, I really feel like we need to talk about this. Or sometimes we've overdone it on making costumes and store events and stuff, and we're like, all right, we have tons of Avengers, let's just do another Avengers Day. Let's just phone it in and hope for the best.
Or there's those times that we're ready for it, but the zeitgeist is not, like New Mutants.
Yep. Which New Mutants next year. I swear.
We'll have the New Mutant Superhero School before that movie ever sees the light of day. We know that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe not. There's talks of that getting either thrown on the Disney Plus or getting like a limited release.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
either way though, sad.
No, I've been thinking about the Warlock costume and how he and Douglock are gonna have to.
So at this point, I was thinking of doing half the costume as Warlock, half the costume as Doug. And
no, buddy. So we're gonna have Warlock be someone not unlike the
separated.
Groot. Yeah, it's gonna be like the Groot suit, to where you're gonna fit inside both suits.
Awesome.
Be Douglock, and then you're gonna come out from Warlock.
Oh, see, I was thinking of doing like both characters, one side the face, one side the face.
I mean, we could do what they have currently and just give like your arm is
like that.
Yeah, and just do like a sock puppet, whatever. But but no, I think it'd be way cooler to do the.
If we could do the Super Warlock mecha type thing.
Oh yeah, no,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like I love Warlock and just the unique way that he talks and his own tragic backstory.
Self-friend dog.
It's just going to be wonderful, and I think that everyone's going to fall in love with these characters because they're so great, and they haven't been portrayed much in other media.
Yep.
I don't think Warlock appeared in the old cartoon.
In the cartoon, that's what I mean.
We've
like,
never
like
seen
some of the other characters have appeared.
Together, have they?
No, and then you've seen some of these characters in like X-Men Evolution, and then some of the New Mutants will show up in the movies. But overall, you haven't seen the New Mutants as a group, and I want to do that for everyone here, just because it's worthwhile.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It's shocking because like that comic was like carrying the franchise for a little while back there in the 80s.
Yep. Yeah, right after the Byrne Claremont thing dipped, that New Mutants really brought everything back up. So
it did introduce Deadpool though.
I don't know what the Deadpool hate is. It's
So characters that I would like to play.
Yeah.
Right, the podcast.
Yeah, coming back around.
No.
No, this is perfect. Like this is
Deadpool would be fun, but admittedly, Travis, who's done it, Flowers, they're all good. I don't think I can measure up.
You have to be a certain personality type.
I will say that Travis has
he's just assimilated so well into the group.
Yeah, and he plays such a perfect Deadpool. Like he plays exactly the Deadpool that we need up here, because it's you think it's about to be raunchy humor, and then it's not. So the adults fill it, kind of have it fill in, and then
And
the
he's
kids.
not just doing a slavish recreation of Ryan Reynolds. He's doing his own thing, which is
He's actually more comic book Deadpool than
yeah. Let me see. So I want to do Captain Marvel Jr. again because and I'm working on a new costume for that. As far as never done it before, Adam Warlock would be fun. Music Meister, of course, because the Brave and the Bold is like my favorite version of Batman, alongside 66, of course.
We gotta do a Music Meister versus Pied Piper.
It's gonna be you and I, buddy. It has to be, because honest to God, superhero school for me is like a chance for me to get that creative output, and whatever I think in my head, I just give it a try. So it's something I need in my life. Like it's I love doing it, but it's amazing. So I would love to be Music Meister. Goodness gracious. Drawing a complete blank now. There's also, you get focused on what you look like, and I don't look anything like Wolverine or Beast, but I love both of those characters, and I would love a chance to be them at some point. But yeah,
like a lot of superhero characters.
Yeah, which is really good. But for me, I'm thin. I'm almost too thin to be Beast, but I love Beast. I think it's such a cool, the fact that he looks like he's gonna kill you, but he's the sweetest, and I love that.
With a lot of the characters that we do here, I don't cast just because
of appearance, of course, right? Yeah, which is good.
Because I think that character portrayal and then body acceptance is very important for the kids to see too.
Good point.
That like in a couple weeks, I'm going to be Hawkman. So
excited for that.
Yeah, so all of this will be, it's just part of the character.
That's a good thing to have, though. It is,
and that's the thing is, be confident in who you are and what you're given.
Right.
There's not a lot of changing that.
And I'll say that it's also good that when we have had somebody in a superhero school that's either a larger figured person or smaller than they are portrayed in the comics or in movies, I've never once heard a kid be like, "You don't look like that person."
Yeah.
Even when it's been somebody who's like a different skin tone or something, or like a different race, like it's never been brought up, which I think that's surprising, and that's really good.
Right. And I mean, there's some things that I won't do. Like, I'm never going to throw you in as Colossus.
Right. Right. But why not listen to my rationale? No. I get it. No,
Eliana, no.
Yeah. But I mean, within reason, I'll if someone's good and I think someone can pull off a role, I'm going to put them in as that, and it just furthers the idea of acceptance, because that's
fun.
I mean, when it comes down to it, all of these characters are there to make society a better place in some form or fashion.
Oh goodness, yeah. One day after, it was during OKC Pride that same Saturday, and we were taking pictures after superhero school, and I was North Star, and I'd put on a rainbow bandana, take a few pictures afterwards, and this little girl comes up to me and like tugs on my shoulder, like, "Me and my dad are going to Pride after this.
Aww.
Are you going to go to Pride after this?" Like, yes, I am.
And I think that was on your Instagram, wasn't it? I believe that some of the pictures were. Or
the pictures were. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's super cool.
Yeah, well, and I never want any of this to be an exclusionary thing. I want to make sure that everyone feels confident and comfortable, and I never want to put anyone in any situation that they're terribly uncomfortable with. I mean, every now and then I will throw you all a curveball and surprise you all with a thing.
The most uncomfortable thing should be dance belts.
Well, yeah, so yeah, that's a whole nother topic. When we discovered that we needed to put all of our men in dancers belts, because we didn't know that they existed. For those that don't know, dancers belts take away the definition from
the private
crotch area.
Just smooth things out is all.
Yeah, it doesn't make everything look like it's concave or anything. It just makes everything look more like a Ken doll. Because early on when we didn't know about that,
the early years of superhero school.
Whew.
Fortunately, I came in for my own title, so I already knew about all that.
Yeah. Now, someone came in and was like, "Hey guys, they make these things," and we're like, "Oh, thank God," because it was the one thing of guys, don't be ashamed of it, but you don't want to just put put all that on display for everyone,
Right.
Because then you're kind of putting on a different
Also,
kind of
working
show.
with kids are usually about waist height.
Yep. Yeah. So you wanna take care of all that.
Yep.
Yeah. Real quick.
Awkward segue, but there's one person I left off with. I'd like to be Superboy Prime, which we wanted to do
Oh
this
my
year,
God.
and I had a whole
Yes.
thing with it. But news media was here doing a day for it, and I thought it might look weird to come out being such a crybaby and such a jerk as Superboy Prime is, in that sense that I was Mixopedaling, which I love being. But
Yeah.
Superboy Prime,
Oh man, yeah. Superboy Prime is I have some characters on my bucket list of like,
Didn't know
God,
who it was.
I'd love to
I know exactly how to play it. I know
So
because
much
I know
to do
exactly.
with him.
yeah.
He's
Well-
important. Yeah,
Well,
very.
well, because at one point he is the end all be all villain of the DC universe,
Yeah.
and then very soon after he's nothing.
Right. Because he shattered, right? He shattered the source wall and that
Yeah.
whole thing. And
So yeah, he broke reality and out he came with Earth 2, Superman, Lois, and Alexander Luthor, who is the good Lex Luthor.
yeah, complicated history,
Or-
but really, really fast.
That was my first big crossover event. I thought, wow, this will never happen again.
Infinite Crisis, it like when Infinite Crisis went down, all of like the top creators were in on it, figured it out. There was the editorial team made sure that everything ran smoothly. All of the little hints and drops and everything that went into it was so beautifully put together. Like it to this day, it's unlike anything else that's ever been done in comics.
So tight.
Yeah, like better than even the original Crisis. Like it made sure that everything fit. The 1 year later and the 52 and all
That
that
was-
kind of fell apart, but I love 52 still to this day.
I bought
Yeah.
every issue of 52.
Me too.
And then when it got to the end, Countdown.
Yeah, Countdown's terrible. But 52, honestly, it starts thinking that it's going to go one place, and it goes off on all these different tangents, and
Well,
they try to come back to where they meant to go, but it doesn't quite get there. But still, it's one of those where don't care about the destination, care about the ride.
Well, I heard about like the writers, they were given like where everyone needed to end up and where everyone began, but
But
there was a lot less story than 52 issues here.
right, and they fell in love with different characters and different ideas of things, and decided to go a lot of different places. And then the idea of the 1 year later was going to be filled in by all the 52, and then that didn't quite work out.
No
so,
explanations to
yeah.
be had.
Right. It's why does Alan Scott not have an eye? What happened to that? So little things like
Why is
that.
Hawkwoman 6 stories tall? Where is Jade?
Yeah.
Where did all these Teen Titans come from? Those Titans were just word association.
Yeah. Well, and then the Great 10, just all the weird Grant Morrison stuff that just kind of sprang out.
Oolong Island was cool. Is that Oolong
yes.
Island? Yeah.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
they just took all their super villains or super scientist villains and threw them all together. That's lasted. The comics still mention that as semi canon, and there's a level in DC Universe Online of it, and it's so much fun because each base has a different mad scientist.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the end point is the Tio Morrow and his
the creator
And
of Red
his-
Tornado. Hey,
and his
something I
like
know.
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're just about out of time here, but I do want to plug this week's superhero school that's coming up. We're doing Fantastic Four again, which it's been a couple years since we've done. I have some huge surprises. We're going to change up some things from superhero school, going forward with this. It's going to be phenomenal.
You might say it'll be fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cannot
gotcha.
wait to appear as the king of Abslantis.
Yeah, so you're going to be Namor? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I'm on fire.
Yeah. Who are you this coming week?
I am not going to be the Human Torch. That was a weird segue. I'm going to be a Nihilus.
Yes.
This is kind of exciting. And I've got the hot glue burns to prove it. Yeah.
Yes. So, and then 2 weeks out from that, we have JSA, which is going to be one of the largest superhero school casts that we've ever done. It's going to be some of the original players from Superhero School coming back, some of the new to the cast Superhero School players.
I like to think of it as our Thanksgiving special.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Yeah, that's good.
Because the whole family, old and young.
Yeah.
And JSA is very old America.
You're going to definitely see something special that day. So come out, tell all your friends, bring your kids, bring the family. It's good for everybody. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for
Thanks
having us.
me here.
And we'll see you all next week.